Well, then maybe we could run him in the Grand National the year after that. Who knows? Just keep going. I don't know, the Parda Beachy, I don't know, whatever. Right, let's talk to a man who had a very good week with 2 Grade 1 winners. After a pretty shaky start to proceedings, it all came pretty good for the multiple champion trainer, Paul Nicholls, who's with me now. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Nick.
I just try and describe your contrasting feelings Wednesday night to Friday night. That's got to be either end of the extremes, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I've been used to that, fun enough, over the years. Historically, we've always been sort of fairly weak on the first couple of days and got better on the last 2 days. And it was just a case of having to be patient, and it all came good in the end.
And just looking back at the Gold Cup, first of all, how proud and pleased were you with Bravemansgame?
You couldn't have asked for any more, really. He was beat by a fantastic horse. He ran a great race. He jumped. He travelled. If he'd have took Galloping Shamback the race, he'd have won very nicely. No excuses at all for him. He ran very, very well, and mighty proud of him. We thought he would. Obviously, you knew my confidence in him was high. He'd improved a lot from Kempton. I still think there's improvement to come with him because he's physically such a big horse, and very proud of him.
There's been some debate about whether this stretches him the extended 3¼ miles, whether he really, really, truly stays this distance, and whether it was that lack of stamina that got him beaten. Do you subscribe to that or not?
Not at all. I mean, if he didn't stay, none of the others in the race stayed either, did they, to be fair? I just think he got beat by a better horse on the day and got in a real scrap. He just got a little bit tired the last bit. I think he actually mirrored when Coulter got beat by Denman, and he put everything in the last sort of 100 yards. He sort of just wilted a little bit. That's because they put everything into it. If you'd have took the winner out, we wouldn't even be able to discuss whether he stayed or not. So that's not an issue at all.
So next year, I'm guessing the campaign will map itself out, won't it, to go exactly the same way again?
Yeah, I mean, it'll either be the Charlie Hall or the Betfair Chase, depending on ground. If the ground was too fast at Wetherby, for example, we might wait for Haydock. Those would be either two. Then obviously the King George, the #1 aim this season. Then we'll do the same again. Go to Cheltenham with him, and have another go.
And that keeping him fresh for Cheltenham has worked this time, hasn't it? And how much of a factor do you think that is in him being able to produce this performance?
Definitely high. I mean, he didn't need to have to win in the King George. He'd had a hard race. He didn't need to go to a Denman Chase and prove anything. Back along in the day, he used to run in a Denman Chase just to get them fit and give them a run before Cheltenham. We could do that at home now. He hasn't been anywhere. It just shows you can get them really right at home. So he doesn't need to go anywhere. So I dare say it will be the same sort of programme, really.
Are you definitely done for this season?
Not definitely. We'll just see. He's only had 3 runs, as we've said. We'll just see how he is. The only options are Aintree. I think Aintree will come a bit too soon, and I've got Clanders a Bow who's coming along very nicely for that. So that would leave us with Punchestown. So we'll definitely have an entry, and we'll just talk to the boys that own him. And I know Brian Drew's quite keen to go to Punchestown if we were all happy with him. So that could be a possibility. And the other possibility is just wait till the autumn. So we'll just see how he is. He'll tell us how he is. And Scott knows him very well. But I suspect by the end of the week, he'd be asking me to up his work a little bit because he'd be fresh. And we'll just see. He'll tell us.
So it's not impossible. That's exciting. We could see him again this year. Just on that point, before we move on to the 2 winners, you talked about Aintree there. How many horses have you kept up your sleeve for Aintree that we didn't even see at Cheltenham?
Oh, quite a lot. There's Pic Dory, Solo, plenty of them, Making Your Mind Up. And obviously horses like, Hermes Allen is, we'll talk about him, but he could go, Stay Away Faye. We'll have plenty of horses at Aintree. See You in My Dreams running in Philly's bumper. Isaac Does a Bow might run in the Gelding's bumper. We've got a whole team to go there.
All right. Well, it'd be exciting to see Stay Away Faye there again in the Sefton. I'm assuming after his victory in the Albert Bartlett, his jumping was really fast for a staying horse. That was quite a feature. Were you expecting him to be able to jump and travel at that pace?
He jumped very moderately at Doncaster, actually, but he didn't see too much that day. But we'd done a lot of work on his jumping between 2 races, and I thought being ridden handy with a bit of daylight would suit him. Harry gave him an absolutely fantastic ride, got him jumping well, and that augurs well for the future for when we go chasing with him. So, it's only his 3rd run under rules, and there's lots to come for him. But to see him jump like that and going to the last one, he needed a big one, he delivered, and Yeah, it was a great performance from an improving horse.
Yeah, I know he cost a lot of money, and actually after Newbury, you did say this is a very good horse.
Yeah, he is, and Harry Skelton said to me after Newbury that was one of the best novice hurdles he rode in all season. He kept telling me that after he won the other day. He said I was right, wasn't I? And he is. He wasn't doing a lot in front, just watching it here. Wing the last and gallop on strong. That's what you like to see. So there's plenty to come from him, and he'll either go to Aintree or Punchestown. He'll entry in both races, and we'll see. And then look forward to chasing in the autumn.
Yeah, we've spoken so much about being able to source these good horses and get hold of them quickly. Just looking at this race, the second, third, fourth, fifth, all Irish trained. Thomas Moore's run a great race for David Pike back in sixth, but it won't have been lost on you here that you're the only one in contention that's trained this side of the Irish Sea, and you've won the race. Are you pretty confident that you're now in a position to be able to get hold of the raw material when you need to get hold of the raw material?
It's hardening. We have bought some nice young horses this year. Actually, we bought one privately in Ireland as we full brother to Envoy Allen. Johnny Dehay's got some lovely young horses like Captain Teague that have won a point to point to go onwards. We've been sourcing some of them. But just an example, at the sale the other night in Cheltenham, there was two beautiful Irish point to point winners, a Cave Tara and a No Risk at All. And I had two owners with plenty of money. We're going to invest heavily in the sport, and we actually bid 410,000 for both of them, and we're underbidder on them both. They both went to Ireland. So you're bidding 400,000 plus and still not getting them. That just shows how tough it is.
Yeah, that's encapsulated it quite nicely.
That sums it up, really. That's exactly where we are, and it's very, very hard to source these horses, and you have to put a value on them. You have to be very sensible, and Gordon's lucky. He bought both of them. He's got people who will just keep on bidding and buying them for him. So it's hard, and we give it a good go, and we've been trying hard privately as well. And that's just how tough it's got.
Talk about Stage Star, because you made an awful lot of people very happy again. The owners group who'd had that Triumph Hurdle win with Pentland Hills, here they were again. I've got to confess, Paul, I couldn't see this one at all, but you've done it again. You've squeezed more out of one of these horses that we think we know where we are with. You probably might have always known where you were with him. Did that surprise you at all or not?
His performance at Cheltenham on Trials Day with 12 stone was very good. The second horse had run very well behind Solo in a graded race. He was obviously improving. Look, he's a Challow winner and has just been improving, and he's got loads of boot. He jumps brilliantly. It looked a hot race on paper, of course it did, but we were quietly confident he'd run very well. Harry gave him a fantastic ride, set the right fractions, gave him a little breather, spinning in and quick and on well. So he's obviously improving young horse.
Now that's the second winning ride that you've praised Harry for, and we were talking earlier in the programme about the way that jockeys have to kind of manage themselves during festival week. How hard do you suppose it is when he'd come off? When Time White had fallen at the second last the previous night, you've got to be pretty mentally strong to get yourself through that and come out and ride like this, haven't you?
Yeah, that was frustrating, and this is the thing. You have to be able to bounce back the very next race, the very next day. You have to have a few disappointments, and he does that. He's very laid back. He's very professional. I think he's only 24 years old. He's done incredibly well. And look, I don't think anyone's riding better than him in the UK, and he's just improving. I think he'll get better. So very proud of what he's doing.
And I mean, that for you was your first Cheltenham Festival winner since Politolog in 2020. I really know how much you love being shown all your celebration shots again. Yeah, we enjoy that. That's why you're doing it. It's fantastic. I can't explain how much pressure you're under and what it feels like going into with all the build up in the meetings, and you just let the steam off. I mean, the pressure is immense. Nick'd probably tell you as well. It's just you can't explain it. You can't put it in a bottle and tell people what it feels like. And when you've had a winner, you just feel so much better. It just puts a different perspective on everything. And everyone's trying hard from the bottom of the team upwards, and to get that winner makes such a difference. But how much of that pressure is self-imposed, really? How much of it is really just you saying, this is what I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be achieving, I have to achieve it, or to what extent is it coming from external factors?
You've got to be realistic. I'm never too worried about external factors. I've learned to deal with that, and I actually think, touch wood, and I'm very lucky that I can actually deal with pressure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sat here now talking to you. I'd have been long gone. But because you have to deal with an awful lot, not a pressure. But we put ourselves under pressure. Of course we are, and we're all working hard. We want to get the right results for everybody who invests in us in the sport, and UK racing, because for whatever reason, British racing's getting a bit of a battering at the moment. So everyone's only interested in how well the Irish are doing, one thing or another. But there's some fantastic trainers in this country, and given the right ammunition, do very, very well. And so we all want to do well. And when you get those results like we had this week, it makes you feel a lot better, and you let the steam off, obviously.
So do you feel? That's a funny thing to say, but do you feel actually responsible for the whole? I'm not saying you're responsible for the whole country, but Megan's laughing
that would
away.
Be dangerous.
You might do better than the ones who are responsible for the whole country.
But do you feel, in a sense, a responsibility towards the rest of the trainers here, that you need to be out there doing well at Cheltenham, for example, because you need to keep our end up?
Of course I do. I'm lucky to be champion trainer, so I've got to. At the top of the pile, I've got to try and do the best for everybody. And, we need results, and it starts from me downwards. And, Dan had a couple of winners. He's doing incredibly well. Jamie had a lovely winner, brilliant trainer as well. There's lots of really good trainers. Nicky had his winner. I suppose Nicky might say a slightly disappointing week, but he still had the win. And, we are representing, UK racing, and we want to do well.
Paul, I didn't ask you what the next plan was for Stage Star.
It's a little frustrating with him. He really needs to go left-handed. So that either brings in Aintree or Air if we run him again this season. So it would be one of those two. Again, Aintree could come a little quick for him. And there's a lovely race at Air the week after. So it would be, if he runs again, be one of those two. Other than that, we'll wait till the autumn, and then we'll have to make a plan ahead towards the Ryanair.
Paul, thanks so much.
Anytime, Nick. Thank you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.